Morning, everyone. I'll try this again, see if I can keep from going into a coughing jag. What I've got for you guys this morning is a comparison of baritones and how to achieve that low tone, that deep tone that everybody falls in love with a baritone if they like that type of thing, and how you might be able to achieve it without having a full-size baritone, because not everybody is able to handle the scale length, or they just want something more portable. There's a lot of different reasons for it. But first of all, I'm gonna show you a full-size baritone. This one happens to have a couple wounds on it. I do have others that have all fluorocarbons. It just depends on your taste. But I'm playing this one because that is what I have on my smaller scale one. So that's full scale standard tuning. Next one I have is a tenor scale baritone body. This happens to be a different shape than the other one. This or amoeba, the other was a pear. But I had always thought that I could not have a low D on a tenor tuning or a tenor scale, and somebody told me what they had done, which was to take the highest 4 strings of a classical guitar string set and use those. So I decided to try that. These happen to be nylon strings for the higher 2 strings, and wound strings for these. And I think that really, it keeps these from getting too floppy. The scale really works. It's a very comfortable scale to play. It's not too floppy, not too tense. And as you can see, I'm very easily can play an F on that, and I've got one song that I play that particular one this morning. My fingers are a little arthritic; they're not working as good, but I can reach it. And on a baritone, it's really a struggle. 19.5 scale, which is what the other one is, I have a real struggle reaching it. So that's a reason for me, and why I asked Pete to let's try this and see what happens. So there again, that's standard depth, and I used it for comparison because it is the same depth as the other one, and basically the same strings. These happen to be nylon, the others are fluorocarbon, but you could do it either way. I like the nylon ones because they're a little softer. But so that's one way to have a smaller scale if your hands aren't big enough. And it's a little shorter. That one does fit in one of my Ohana tenor bags. Another way to go, if you just the thickness is what bothers you. We happen to do a one that's kind of in between our thin line and that, and it's 3 layers, kind of like our Oreo. And this one happens to be a dreadnought shape, which I think gives it a little bit deeper. Now this one has fluorocarbons, 2 fluorocarbons and 2 wounds, and it happens to be a mahogany. And this one is, it's like I say, it gives you a nice full sound also. Then I go to one that's got all fluorocarbons. This has Worth Browns, but it's a full scale baritone, but it's got a thinner body, and so if the size of the body's the problem for you, then this is something different to do. So that's a thin line, but all fluorocarbons. Little easier. Like for me, I have some shoulder issues, and sometimes those are easier for me to play. Lately, this has kind of been one of my favorites. It's actually a tenor ukulele, and I've strung it with Fremont black lines, and they're a set that is made with a high D for baritone tuning for a tenor scale, and it's become one of my favorites. I would love to try the set of strings that I have on that one with the baritone body and full body, and see how that sounds. And one of these days I'll get around to. Next time I need to change some strings, I'll have to try that. But I call this my mini bari. And that's because when I play the nursing home, sometimes Lisa plays a GCEA usually, and sometimes it's nice to have a baritone, just that backing, that blending of tones that you get when you have two different tunings. It's always lovely sounding. But the thing I do like about the high D is, like, if I've got songs that I finger pick, or I am doing chord melodies, some of those sound better on a reentrant tuning. You can always find that high note somewhere else. It's not that, but it's easy just to adapt songs that are made for that, and you have a high note on that fourth string, and it's hard to, you have to figure out where to find it otherwise. And this there again, it gives you that lower tone. It's without having a baritone body, and so it's another way to go. So there you have it. The only thing I haven't done is put a low D on just a tenor body and tenor neck both. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But lots of options for getting that baritone sound that you want without actually having a baritone body or a baritone scale. I do believe that you can't get that baritone sound without the lower tuning. I just don't think that it really, it's a bigger sound, a bigger tenor sound, but it's not really, most people find it really isn't, they're disappointed because it's not really what drew them to the baritone in the first place. So so there is that to consider. So if you just want a bigger sounding tenor, a low G put on it sounds great. The other option, if you want to play with others but you want that sound, and I should have brought it down and I didn't, it's called contra tuning. It is a step down from or not a step, it's a whole octave down from low G tuning. So it's really deep and it sounds beautiful played with other instruments. I have a hard time singing to it. I have to in my head get to that higher octave, because obviously I don't have a bass voice or a baritone voice. But for those people that do have those nice big deep voices, the guys, I it's a good tuning for them to sing to. I can't sing to it. But I've played along when other people are playing a mixture of other tunings, and it adds a really nice deep tone. And maybe I'll do a video sometime in the future just about that tuning. I have actually done one in the past. But so anyway, I will quit gabbing, and if you got any questions, be sure and post them, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. But maybe this will help you in your search for that nice deep low tone for baritones. Everybody have a good day.